You know,
Back-to-back hometown fight cards, Eddie. Last week was obviously New Orleans or Prograis. This weekend we had Edgar Berlanga here in New York. Is the plan to bring him back to New York to build up more of a fan base here, more of an attraction, and if so, more theater fights?
yeah, I want to go into the main room with a Munguia fight. You know, I think we could do that fight in LA, we could do it in Vegas. We've also had an approach to do his next fight in Puerto Rico, which I think would be a lot of fun. Obviously, we sold out tonight, it was an incredible atmosphere. You know, it really depends on the speed that we move him in. I think the Munguia fight is a massive fight. Golovkin, massive fight as well. And he's going to be, when you see him against guys that are coming forward trying to win and be aggressive, I think you're going to see him in some great fights.
Just a quick one, are there any more fights for Jason?
I thought Jason was exceptional tonight, and I thought at 168, I thought he looked so much better. Like, going back to, not to discredit Demetrius' win, like, he shouldn't have been really boxing that day. He had no Andy Lee, the weight was a problem. Obviously, he broke his jaw in the first round. But I thought he looked really good, and I think as he grew in confidence, it was very awkward. Like, I think Edgar Berlanga's head just went down a little bit in that backstage of the fight, which it shouldn't have, because Jason started boxing really well. And you know, I think him and Andy Lee are a great team. I was saying to one of the guys, you know, people like Billy Joe Saunders are looking for a comeback fight to get in, and Quigley's the kind of guy. You've got Katie Taylor probably fighting in Ireland, in Dublin, in November. Maybe he lands on that fight. Looks like he might have busted his nose. But I thought it was a really good performance.
Eddie, obviously Twitter's been a buzz tonight, and you did not put your phone down, you know, this evening. Do you have a message though on camera for Oscar De La Hoya?
No, honestly, I just hope he's okay. I hope he can be happy. I mean, you know, you shouldn't really worry about me. Like, if you look at his timeline, all week he's been tweeting about me. I love it, because for people who don't know me, he's obviously, you know, probably 80% of my following's from the UK. So there's probably a lot of people going, who is this guy that Oscar De La Hoya keeps tweeting about? And if they follow me as well, it's fantastic. But he's clearly not happy. Like, you can't just sit there and be miserable and tweet someone that absolutely have no relevance in his life. I don't know him. We don't really talk. Like, I've never, like, I mean, the Ryan Garcia thing's got nothing to do with me. I mean,
Nothing to do with him either, right?
Well, who knows? But you know, they said to. You know, I said to him, I just wanted to respond tonight, because he flew in twice to New York to try and sign Berlanga. And I just said, just tune in and watch him tonight. And he said, oh, you promised him Canelo. And I said, well, who you promised Ryan next? Judge Judy. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, like, we can go backwards and forwards, but I don't want to, like, I'd rather just, I don't mind a little bit of banter, but I don't want it to affect him in there, you know?
Eddie, where do you think his rivalry with you comes from? Where do you think his rivalry with you comes from?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like, I think a lot of people feel like, I don't know whether they kind of don't understand why I get all these TV dates around the world. Like, I think they feel like the industry, and this isn't really Oscar, I'm going to go into other people, but they kind of feel like the industry owes them something. So when someone comes in and signs a big TV deal, they think that should have been them, but it wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
So it's a rivalry between the DAZN family, in other words.
I wasn't actually talking about Oscar then.
Okay.
I was talking more about other people. You know, I'll say, like, people like Leonard Ellaby, who doesn't have a TV deal, and Lou DiBella, who doesn't have a TV deal, they feel like they should have my dates. Honestly, like, but they haven't got any fighters, and they're not really relevant within the target market or the same. You know what I mean? So I won those days, and I've got them. But they kind of, I don't know. It's a really, like, it's difficult to explain, but it's the most fucked industry I've ever, like, worked in. I've worked in all sports. I've worked in
golf,
gambling.
billiards.
I've worked in everything, and there's nothing like it. Like, you know, we sold out this place 3 weeks ago for the darts, and darts is the most wonderful world. Everyone's so thankful, everyone gets on, and boxing is the most bitter environment. And even fans, you know, like you've seen it this week with Canelo, it's so bizarre. It's like, you know, the people that, you've got the PBC fans, you've got the Matchroom fans. It's like, guys, we all just want, that's why when people ask me about, they say, Eddie, PBC are having a good year. I say, yeah, fantastic. I can't wait for Spence Crawford.
Speaking of that, and when it came to the Spence Crawford, there was a huge divide between, it seemed, fan bases and regions in America, namely the South
and the East Coast, Eastern fan bases. You were just to touch on that. Do you think it's kind of weird that the fan bases now are kind of like, it's almost like a Bloods versus Crips thing, where it's Matchroom versus PBC versus Golden Boy.
It's weird. Like, you should support. Hey, listen, I'm very thankful for people for supporting Matchroom, but you should really support the fighters, not who they're with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that Spence and Crawford deserve a huge amount of credit because they've taken the fight that we all want to see. I don't care. Like, at no point do I look at that and go, damn, I can't believe PBC have got that fight. I look at it and go, what a great fight. I'm going to tune in. I mean, lucky enough, I'm in the UK. I won't have to pay $84.99. But I'll be watching the fight. Don't worry about that. So, and I think it's brilliant for the sport.
I do want to ask you, Eddie, speaking about the money that fans are investing in the sport, especially hardcore fans, $225 a year. There's a very important fight that took place earlier today in Japan between Ioka and Franco, the rematch. No outlet here in the United States. I've heard that it's the same story in the UK.
Yeah,
Is there any way that we can get Ioka in against one of your top guys in the lower weight classes?
I think Ioka against Chocolatito is a really good fight. I mean, I saw some stuff online that obviously all of our shows are shown around the world, every country in the world. But the Showtime card tonight wasn't available in the UK. I've got to tell you guys, and some of you know this, some of you don't. The audience is very small, right? When I was with Sky, we used to acquire a lot of US cards. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, there isn't a lot of people watching live. Yeah. And we see that tonight. And it's the same for Berlanga Quigley in the UK. You know, there's, I don't know, 10, 15,000 people watching live, and in the morning, they'll watch it on demand.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, and a great example is Ioka against Franco.
Great
like,
fight.
Yeah, but it's so niche, right? You've got to understand, like, if the Zone have got, you know, I won't tell you, but, you know, close to 1 million subscribers, do you know how many people would have watched Ioka Franco? I promise you, I know the viewership. Like, it's so niche, and it's such a good fight. And they do have to get the decision right between servicing the hardcore fight fans that have spent their money and also the value of the rights fee versus how many people will watch. And that's why cards like the Showtime card tonight isn't acquired by the UK, because they're saying we're not going to pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 rights fee because there's like less than 2,000 people are going to watch.
Yeah.
So it's just a business thing, but the Zone is a little bit different because it's a boxing service. So they need to make sure they keep providing value for subscribers.
Plus, you're out in the Pacific region in Australia, right? I mean, so that's a fight for Australia, New Zealand, as well as...
Yeah, but no one, like, again, like, the Australian numbers are tiny even for domestic fights.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes our sport, as big as it is, can be a little bit niche. You know, in certain places, in certain areas, like fights that you love and I love might do shit numbers.
So Estrada Ioka, can it happen on the Zone?
Yeah, Estrada's the guy that's done good numbers for us.
Yeah.
You know, we have a huge Mexican or Hispanic following on the Zone, and Estrada's always done good numbers for us. So yes, that's a fight that could happen.
Thank you.
Speaking of niche fights, can you bring some clarity on the struggles when it comes to making Dimitri Bivol and Artur Beterbiev?
Yeah, I think the struggle is, again, I mean, niche is a harsh word for that fight, but trade. You see, you have to look at it like Spence Crawford, right?
I only said niche because I think there was a statement that there wasn't enough money in the fight.
Well, there is enough money in the fight, but maybe not. There's a difference between there being enough money in the fight or being enough money for the fighters in the fight. Do you know what I'm saying?